So today's video is about my camera rig, and it is powered by the Neewer PSO 99E V-mount battery. And there's a reason why I'm doing a video specifically on a battery, and actually the V-mount plate too, this right here. And that's because I think they inadvertently made the best V-mount battery for anyone who uses a hybrid camera setup like this. This is the Canon R5C. This is what I shoot the majority of my commercial work on. The form factor is great. It's light, it's easy to pack down. It's just a lot easier to carry around than your standard cinema body and glass. And if you ever have to go minimalist and go into somewhere that looks like you just have a camera, it's pretty easy to do with this. But we're not talking about the rig today. If you want to see my old rig video, this is now going to be my new rig. I'll link it in a card above. But right away, getting into it so you're not waiting, the reason why this is the best V-mount battery is because they had the foresight to put the USB-C port on the side. Now, here are my credentials. These are all V-mount batteries that I've used over the years. This is the one that I used to prefer, but they all have the same problem. These were so expensive when they first came out because they were the first to bat, so I'll forgive them. These, unfortunately, garbage. No PD power port, but also they don't hold charge, and these are the newest ones that I have. Still good for lighting, but $1,200 for 4 of them, and the charge kit, not worthwhile. This is the 99 watt hour one. And so what's the deal? Why does it matter, right? Batteries are super boring. Why are we talking about batteries? It's because all of them have the same weird design flaw, and it's for some reason they all put their USB-C port, oh, it doesn't even have it, up top. And just ergonomically, that's such an annoying thing to do. This is actually a shocking budget option when everything was twice the price. Like, there's no reason to have this on the top, and I'm gonna show you why that's annoying. So first and foremost, we're gonna talk about just the battery here. You see how it's relatively, if you're not used to these kinds of setup, then you're probably not gonna know this, but cable management here is actually relatively clean compared to what it normally is. A big reason for it, and I'm using a cable that's too long because I needed a cable this long prior, is because the port is on the side and it's easy access. If I want to drop it down for whatever reason, and we'll talk about the V-mount plate in a second because it is a really cool plate, not a problem. Grab it up top, no cable in the way here, so I can hold it, not a problem. Super annoying. Let me show you what I'm talking about. And I know for some people, this sounds like such a minor inconvenience, but the fact of the matter is that this is under $100 right now, the Neewer battery. I'll put links in the description below to this and the V-mount plate on Amazon and on their website directly as well. I know it sounds like I'm complaining, like what's the deal with the position? Why is it a big deal? When you use these tools every single day, you start to notice the things that really bother you, the things that could have been done differently. And for the longest time, we just wanted something. You see the D-tap port is where I connect my monitor. This is on the side. They should have just had another port for the USB A and C right there. That would have solved everyone's problems because everyone keeps hitting the top. Sometimes that's just how it is when you're holding the top handle. And then if you end up bending the port or bending the USB cable, you're in trouble. You better like and subscribe for this because I'm actually going to just swap out the whole setup, which is pretty easy. But again, we'll talk about this in a minute. Here's like the whole setup. Here's the whole setup. Battery and V-mount bracket. And my old one was this one, which is still really a great piece of equipment. But just like the battery, it has its quirks that this setup addressed. This one's more aesthetically pleasing, but there's a form factor issue. So here we go. SmallRig plate, SmallRig cage. I've got to drop this down and extend it right off the bat to mount it. So here's my setup. I'm gonna plug in both cables. You can already see it's a little messier. And let's do the monitor right here. I forgot, and this battery has the D-tap in like the opposite direction than you normally would use for some reason. But anyway, here's what this looks like. So I'm gonna lock this now. That's the extender plate, and we'll go over again the features of that one. And I move it up here. And first off, hold on, gotta tighten this guy properly. So You see how this kind of just, it's in the way. It's always in the way here, and it's also not as balanced. And moving around, you either if you have extra slack, you have to wrap it around here. But the problem is, if you're in a position where you have to access the screen, the reason why this cable is so long is because previously it would tug at the power supply, and that's no good. Now, rest assured, this is just what we've all used for the longest time, and now we're going to get into the bracket. But you can see I'm holding it in the center here, and it's really not balanced at all. It's really front heavy because I have a heavier lens up front. And that's not hard to do with a setup that's this light. Now, normally as a counterbalance, I would just kind of drop the screen a little bit, but still, this is the 24-105-2.8, and it's still not balanced very well. So if you're shooting handheld all day, that does tend to wear on you after a while, especially if you're crouching down in lower positions or if you're standing for extended periods of time. And like you're on an environment, there's so many environments where you can't put your camera down. That's why normally I have a little mini tripod on the foot. But if you're in one of those environments, then you're pretty much just holding it the entire time. And it does cause some fatigue after a couple of hours. Never mind 10 to 12 hour shoots like 3, 4, 5 days in a row. I think I made my point with all of these batteries. Also, I forgot if I said this in the beginning or not, but I was sent this stuff to review for free. But as with everything else in my channel, I do what I want. And if it's a bad product, it's just not going to get promoted, because I remember I have this one particular scenario that still pisses me off when I think about it. Somebody pushed, I'm not going to name this YouTuber, but somebody pushed a product that was not good years back. This was like 7 or 8 years ago. And I said, you know what? I'm getting this recommendation from this person, and I got it, and it sucked, and everyone else hated it too. And that forever made me hold a grudge against that YouTuber. You know, we all work hard for our money. We all work hard for our money. It sucks when you put money into something that ends up being trash. So rather than getting it out of the box and shooting this video right away, I actually took it on 2 jobs, and I shot my last YouTube video, or 2 YouTube videos ago, the Fuji X-H2S autofocus update video outdoors. I shot that using the Neewer setup, this setup right here, and really stressed the battery out. I ran it down 4 or 5 times, made sure that it wasn't cutting off at 10% or 5% or 2%. The screen reading was actually accurate. I should probably mention the features. So this is what makes these so much better than a lot of the other batteries, is that you actually have the stat readouts. Biggest one being the percentage of battery you have left, but then it also helps to have the amount of power draw going out if you have like a ton of accessories. Fully charge it within 2 to 3 hours after every shoot, and it was good. I'm pretty confident going into every job using this rig, but then also I only have one of these now, but I think I'm going to buy a second one, so I have a secondary for my A cam at least. And the A cam is usually the one that I have that's handheld, and that's where like that whole USB-C on the side thing comes in pretty handy. That's really where it matters more than anything else. All right, so I'm going to pop this off now, and we're going to talk about their V-mount battery plate, because first impressions, and I'm going to show you guys this right now, because I think you'll agree with me. First impressions, it came into the box like this, and here's the SmallRig one, and I thought this was a weird looking thing. I thought they were going to send me something like this, and I said, oh, what is this? This is horrible. You know, it's got so many little fidgety things. It came with an Arca Swiss plate in case your cage doesn't have an Arca Swiss adapter on the bottom built into it. And it was just, it's like so weirdly chunky. I did not like it aesthetically, and I almost wrote it off completely. But then the functionality came to play. Let's take a look. So I'm gonna slide this guy on. This was whoever put this together went out of their way to ask people what they wanted in a V-mount plate. That, or the person who designed it was either a video professional or is a video enthusiast themselves. I'll be honest with you, man, like this is brilliant. So you remember earlier with the SmallRig setup, I showed you how off balance it was. So you got like the same position here. And you see it's still pretty front heavy, but with a literal twist of the knob here, because that's on the side, it's not doing the weird loopy thing where you have another one there and now you can't press the V-mount against your body. I really hate having the top USB-C port, but now this is very well balanced. And this is just a lot less fatiguing to carry. When you have something well balanced, it's less fatiguing than carrying something that's lighter and not well balanced. And then you can also switch it up even more. And this is great because it also gives you a lot of accessibility for the screen, especially if you want to go with like an all-day power source without a monitor or something. One of these will power an R5C at 8K for I think about 6 hours, if memory serves me right. And this is even more well balanced here. And ergonomically, it's great because now I can also use this as kind of a shoulder rig, which, you know, you probably shouldn't, but I'm definitely going to. And it adds a degree of stability as well. This also makes accessing the screen a lot easier if you're mounting this onto a tripod because you have a lot more clearance. And here's the other thing. Like I said, they really, whoever designed it, props, man. You can have it sit down like this and act as a counterbalance on an Arca Swiss tripod, or just have full access to the screen, no problem. You know, it's great. I love functional things that work well, especially when they're cheaper than everything else you've been using for a while. Now, like I said, this is a 99 watt hour battery. They have other ones, they have larger ones as well, but I stick to the 99 because I fly with all of this stuff, which is why I have so many V-mount batteries. Remember that whole Samsung Galaxy phone explosion fiasco? Because of that, someone in some airline decided, hey, 99 watt hours sounds like a good number, and that's what we're limited to, and behold. More batteries than I ever wanted to deal with in my entire life, but a lot of these are going to be demoted to lighting batteries, and I'm going to be replacing my current batteries with these just because it just makes my job easier. And that's all we've got for today. If you got any questions, let me know in the comments below, and if there's anything else you want to see as far as rigging or anything else when it comes to cameras, also let me know in the comments below. Catch you at the next one.